they are going to evacuate the most critical patients first. That's what we are hearing from Judge EMMETT.
Texans are on the front lines in Rockport,
So it's been really hard to get medications down here in Rockport.
where video and pictures taken from inside the city's only freestanding ER illustrate the need.
Dislocated wrists, tons of sickness.
Cardiac patients had pacemakers.
Doctors and nurses from Frisco and Fort Worth are treating residents as well as police officers in the city hardest hit by Harvey's initial impact.
At this emergency room in Portland, doctors and nurses are treating an influx of patients.
Sometimes it feels like you can't help them fast enough.
The volume went, through the roof.
And they're all driven by one thing.
Because that's what I do. I like taking care of people.
But for these two nurses, the patients are also neighbors. They're Rockport residents whose homes were destroyed by Harvey.
There's going to be so many people that are displaced.
I forgot my dad's hat. My dad passed away about 12 years ago. The only thing that would make me cry was thinking that I might lose that hat.
But through their personal pain, they continue comforting their patients through their pain.
I'm thankful that they were here.
I might not be able to lift timbers and rip walls out, but I can look after the people that get hurt doing it.
We stayed open the entire time. We saw a huge increase when Baptist closed. We saw a number of patients that, we saw Medicare and Medicaid chips. You would not believe the different things that people were presenting with when they came in.
We started seeing a lot more ambulatory patients coming in, as well as we did take some EMS traffic briefly. The core employees that were here with us all had a lot more damage than myself. Both vehicles at their house and their home, as long as they're with their clothes. And they were sitting up here with me, and so that's tough for everybody.
We were isolated in Lumberton, a community of about 13,000 people. As far as a 24/7 emergency facility with CT and X-ray and labs and things like that, we're the only place in the county. We had first responders that were injured. We had a boat accident where a firefighter was hurt. We had 2 electrocutions, burns.
See all kinds of helicopters landing, flying in and out. It's craziness, chaoticness.
Lumberton was pretty much an island, and we were the only medical care for anybody to seek.
I had a patient that I took care of for 3 days. Finally got him out, and he did pass away the next day. So it was very difficult.
We even had a patient here that we kept here in the Freestanding Emergency Center until she was safe to be discharged home, that met criteria for admission to a hospital, but there's no hospital able to receive her at that time because of the flooding.
Lumberton EMS, ran every 911 call that they had that they could get to, and they had no place to send them. So they all came to us. We got all the EMS traffic for several days.
We were the only thing that they could see. Our lights were still on, and so they walked here. They were thinking they were probably just going to stand underneath our awning, but thankfully we were open and they came in, and they were able to shelter here until they could get safely home.
I work for NASA, and I work for our Protective Services Division, and I live here in Friendswood. The men and the women here that were working were real nice enough that they invited me inside. Had a generator, and they just really, like first responders do, they opened up to help people.
We saw every patient that came through the door, and whether or not they had insurance, we were going to provide whatever medical stabilization they needed.
We stayed open. We never closed our doors. Anything that came, we took care of them without regard to whether we get reimbursed or not. And we saw a lot of unfunded self-pay patients. We saw Medicare patients, Medicaid patients, VA patients. Everybody was the same. We took care of them and took their information, and we'd work it out later. So now we're in the process of working it out.
You know, we're making do and we're happy, and we're here to take care of the people of Rockport, Texas, because they need us right now. Rockport is important, Rockport matters, and freestanding ERs matter. We're mattering right now.
You know, the viewpoint will change, the picture of freestandings will change. It put us in the spotlight where we could show the kind of contribution you can make to a community.
I think as people realize how good the staff is, how good the equipment is here, I think this model is going to continue to grow and definitely serve a really important niche in the medical field.
Looking back at this, you know, we're going to say, wow, we made it through a really tough time together.
It's a little scary to think of how bad it could have been if we hadn't been here for people, honestly.